Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Void Dancer, written by TheAntiSnipe. Merchant vessel Vodmer. Tyrell sat in the captain's chair, watching the situation around him go to crap. Moments ago, he was waiting on the warp drive to charge at this very post, looking forward to some real food when he got to Etnar Station, with his cargo of the Federation's deadly heavy weaponry. Apparently, the fecking universe had a goddamn terrible sense of timing. The 5 pirate ships had dropped out of FTL at the exact moment when his ship was charging for a jump. The massive power core was pumping all of its power into the FTL systems, and weapons couldn't even be charged before the pirates fired a heavy ion beam at the weapon pod, completely annihilating them. Here he sat with no weapons, no propulsion, and, judging by the passing out navigator and engineer, about half of his essential crew. A few thousand light years from the nearest Federation outpost, facing pirates who didn't need him alive to extract cargo. Join the merchant navy, they said. You'll make a lot of dough, they said. Well, feck him. He flicked the control to manual and prepared to discharge the FTL drive's core's energy into a suicidal burst into the pirates' formation. Just one command for all ahead and full, and he'd go to the Voidlands to meet his ancestors. But just as his talons were about to reach the command panel, Captain, reporting a small bogey bearing 237, traveling extremely fast, too small to be a missile, repeat, too small to be a missile, reported the radar man. Kunk. Captain, hull breach, Section 7, heavy weapons, cargo bay compromised and venting atmo, reported security. Crap, he didn't have to say. A bogey entering a heavy weapons bay at an insane velocity. He braced for explosion, which never came. Sir, bogey is moving back out, bringing it up to main screen, reported security again. What he saw there was crazy. There was a figure of a biped wearing a pure black suit, clambering out of the impact hull, and in its hands was a railgun from one of the Federation's Dreadnought series. How the feck is he even going to fire that weapon? Analysis complete. Bogey is Terran. Repeat, bogey is Terran. Ah. Well, fuck. Suit cam 3 minutes ago. Hey, Joey, you ready for the jump? Ready as I'll ever be, Carl. All systems green? Aye. The camera finally saw light. The airlock alleyway lit up as the human pilot, Joey, prepared to run. Remember, Joey, you're going to be jumping out of the craft at near light speed. Make sure that your orcs are in. Acknowledged, Carl. I could never understand why you folks would want to jump out of a perfectly good spacecraft, piped up another alien voice from the comms. But it's fun, exclaimed Joey. You and I are going to have a disagree on that. Celia, of the Artorian, began, but was interrupted by the sound of a Federation alert. Looks like I'll have to cancel the jump, thought Joey. Oh, wait. Distress beacon detected. Ship's a merchant vessel. 5 pirate ships surrounding it. Cargo classified. Looks like it's on Federation contract. Getting Federation data? Yeah. It contains classified weaponry. Hey, Joey, remember those Dreadnought series rails we tested back at the base? Joey was a Terran Marine and an adrenaline junkie in his free time. The pitch-black suit he wore was capable of advanced combat functions, and with the extreme augmentation, Orcs for short, that he'd added to it, it was capable of easily lifting 15 tons while maintaining supersonic velocities, back when it was field-tested on the proving grounds of old Terra. With Joey's background and contacts, he'd managed to add some questionable orcs to the suit, basically allowing it to do completely insane stuff, like jumping out of a vessel at warp speed. You mean the ones that prevented me from firing taters through? Sure, replied Joey, smiling. You thinking what I'm thinking, Joe? Asked Cole. Feck yeah, exclaimed Joe. Hey, Celia, can the suit go through ship armor? Well, it is rated to survive asteroid collisions at FTL. You should be fine. Wait, no. Yes, Joey's face lit up. Nobody's done a sub-warp ship infiltration, right? Not to my knowledge, said Cole, a feral grin forming on his face. I'll make the adjustments to your orgs and upload the breach coordinates. Suit Cam 1, present. Time for a little dance with the void, said Joey, hefting the railgun. Stealth orgs on. Momentum release orgs ready. Weapon system integrated. Release, grinned Joey, as he activated map boots and strolled out of the ship, clambering out of the still-growing hole he'd made in the hull. He'd finally stood on the armor of the vessel, crouched as if to pounce. He loved this. The suit's shock absorbers took care of sudden impacts by storing the impact force into a massive microarray of hypercapacitors for later use, and the release mechanisms were straight out of a goddamn movie. A massive dent formed on the hull of the ship as he blasted off a few thousand meters per second, railgun at the ready. The two ships that had disabled the weapon systems were in range of his railgun. Target range 600 kilometers, inertial dampeners ready. Beginning firing cycle. The Federation's new railgun was a behemoth and compact package. The slugs it fired were tungsten with antimatter cores, giving each shot the effective firepower of a thermonuclear warhead with none of the fallout. The coils went red hot and the railgun charged, rotating faster and faster until Fox 1. The railgun shot went right through the vessel in front of the merchant ship, tearing compartments and weapon modules asunder as it worked its way to the warp core. Then it detonated. The explosion was so intense that Joey's view screen filters went into overdrive, rendering everything pitch black. And just as the light began to return to his world, enemy has locked onto thermal signature, bogey bearing 242. Rapidly turning, he fired a second railgun round. This time, he remembered to look the other way, which was a good thing because multiple lock-ons detected, bearing 300, 107, and 212. Back, he thought. Merchant vessel, Vomer, present. Feck, breathed Tyrael. 3 lock-ons was a near-sure kill, especially when the bogies were clustered like that. He prepared for the inevitable annihilation, as heavy ion beams grind the brave human to atoms. No ship armor could take 3 heavy ion attacks, much less personal armor. And then, to his surprise, the human danced. There was no better word for it. As the ion beams fired in their well-calculated sustained fire arcs, the human in the suit showed surprising agility, nimbly navigating the debris field he'd made with his first devastating attack, while easily dodging the 3 ship-destroying matter-dissolving beams of pure, fecking energy. Nor just that. His suit glowed beautifully as the heavy shielding made for transwarp debris protection absorbed whatever part of the arcing energy he couldn't evade. It was beautiful, like a dance of ethereal fairy. No, this had to be a Lakar, a revenant brought to life. Ion beams illuminated the entire sector of space as he whirled and dodged them, using the debris field as a platform to make evasive maneuvers at more than 300 meters per second. It was like nothing he'd seen before, and Tylik had been the first in his class for flight maneuvers. And as he evaded, he fired back, the railgun in his hands now an incandescent dark red as shots were fired with pinpoint precision, leaving streaks of vermilion in the void as they flew to their marks, turning matter into energy and devoured entire ships with no mercy. And as the ion fire faltered and explosions lit up the cold void, marking the deaths of the remaining 3 pirate vessels, the human hailed them. "Is everyone okay? I'm sorry about your hull." "That's not the problem, but, who are you?" asked Tylek. "Joe Mulligan of the 36th Terran Marines, sir. We received your distress beacon while we were on leave, so we scrambled as fast as possible." He could hear a hint of humor in that voice. Not even a pilot. What the feck? But they'd been saved and everything else came after. "Mr. Mulligan, is there anything we can do for you?" Hesitation. "Well, if you don't mind me asking, could I have your footage of that battle?" "Do your superiors want it for analysis?" "Actually, not really. I wanted it posted on YouTube. You see, my GoPro malfunctioned as I fired the first shot." "Wait, does this mean—" "Yeah, that was one of the few adventure sports that we've been doing. It's called void jumping. I was on my day off jumping with void traveling at subsea velocity when I got the call. Anyway, Void Dancer does have a nice ring to it, right?" Tylek sighed. Humans, goddamn adrenaline junkies. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Caspar Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon WRE, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.